No one believed their story would work. But love doesn't care about borders. The night everything changed began with a simple message that almost went unnoticed. Emma never imagined that one small notification on her phone would eventually change the direction of her entire life. She was sitting alone in her tiny New York apartment, rain softly tapping against the window, the city lights reflecting across the glass like blurred memories. It had been a difficult year for her. After losing her job and ending a long relationship that had slowly drained her spirit, Emma had begun to believe that life had quietly closed the door on love. But sometimes the most life-changing moments arrive when we least expect them. Before we continue this emotional journey, take a moment right now. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unexpected love, please like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who believes in love, and subscribe to the channel Love Beyond Borders for more powerful stories that remind us humanity is bigger than borders. Emma was 26 years old, a graphic designer who had always believed in romantic stories but had recently stopped believing they could happen to her. Her days had become routine and quiet. She worked freelance from home, drank too much coffee, and scrolled endlessly through social media to fill the silence of her apartment. That night, as rain continued falling across the city, she received a message request from someone she had never heard of before. His name was Amir. At first, she assumed it was just another random message from someone online, but something about the profile caught her attention. The photo showed a young man standing beside a river at sunset. He looked simple, calm, and genuine. His smile wasn't the confident type people use to impress others. It looked real, almost shy. Emma almost ignored the message. But curiosity made her open it. It wasn't a flirtatious message or anything strange. It simply said that he had seen one of her artwork posts in a design group online and thought her work was beautiful. He was learning graphic design himself and wanted to know how she created certain color styles. It was respectful, simple, honest. Emma replied with a short answer, expecting the conversation to end there. But it didn't. Days slowly turned into weeks, and somehow their small conversations became part of Emma's daily routine. Amir lived thousands of miles away in another country. His life was completely different from hers. He came from a modest background, worked long hours at a small printing shop, and studied design at night because he dreamed of creating something better for his future. What surprised Emma the most wasn't the distance between them. It was the way he spoke about life. Amir didn't complain about the struggles he faced. Instead, he talked about hope, about working hard, about believing that kindness always returns to you in unexpected ways. He often shared pictures of the small streets near his home, the markets filled with lights, the quiet rivers where he walked after long days. Emma began realizing that the world she had been living in suddenly felt bigger. Months passed, and the connection between them grew deeper. Emma would wake up in the morning and find messages from Amir about his day. Amir would finish work at night and read about Emma's struggles with freelance work, her dreams of opening a design studio someday, and the loneliness she had been carrying inside her heart. Neither of them had planned to fall in love. But love rarely asks for permission. Somewhere between late-night conversations, shared dreams, and moments of vulnerability, their feelings slowly began changing. What started as friendship quietly grew into something stronger, something neither of them could easily explain. Emma began to imagine what life would be like if Amir lived closer. Amir began to wonder if someone like Emma could ever truly love someone like him. But reality soon reminded them that love between two people from different countries is never simple. There were cultural differences, family expectations, financial struggles, and the enormous challenge of distance. Emma's friends warned her that online relationships rarely work. Some of them told her she was being naive. Amir faced even harder doubts. His family believed relationships across countries were unrealistic and dangerous. They worried that Emma would eventually leave him once reality became difficult. Some people around him told him that a girl from America would never truly build a life with someone like him. These doubts began slowly creeping into their hearts. There were nights when Emma stared at her phone wondering if she was making a mistake. There were days when Amir felt that maybe loving someone so far away was simply impossible. But every time they tried to step away, something pulled them back. It wasn't just attraction, it was understanding. Emma had never met someone who listened to her the way Amir did. He remembered the small details about her life, encouraged her creativity, and reminded her of her strength when she felt like giving up. And Amir had never met someone who believed in his dreams the way Emma did. She helped him improve his design skills, sent him tutorials, and constantly reminded him that his future could be bigger than the small town he had grown up in. Their worlds were slowly becoming connected, but the biggest challenge was still waiting. After nearly a year of talking every single day, they both realized something that could no longer be ignored. They wanted to meet. The idea felt exciting, terrifying, and almost impossible at the same time. Travel costs were expensive, visas were complicated, and neither of them had ever done something like this before. But love has a strange way of giving people courage. Emma began saving money from her freelance projects. She worked longer hours, took extra clients, and slowly built a small travel fund. Amir did the same. He worked overtime at the printing shop, designed small projects online for extra income, and saved every dollar he could. Months later, the moment finally arrived. Emma booked a flight. The night before her trip, she barely slept. Her mind was filled with thousands of questions. What if reality felt different from their conversations? What if the connection they felt online disappeared when they finally stood face to face? Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Amir stood at the airport holding a small bouquet of flowers, his hands shaking slightly. He had never been this nervous in his entire life. When Emma finally walked through the arrival gate, time seemed to slow down. For a few seconds, neither of them moved. They simply looked at each other, realizing that the person who had become so important in their lives was now standing right there. And in that moment, something beautiful happened. All the doubts, fears, and distance that had once separated them suddenly felt smaller. Emma saw the same gentle smile she had seen in pictures. Amir saw the same warm eyes that had comforted him during countless late-night conversations. They didn't need dramatic words or perfect moments. The truth was already there. Sometimes love doesn't grow from perfect situations. Sometimes it grows from patience, understanding, and the courage to believe in someone who lives on the other side of the world. Emma spent 2 weeks in Amir's country, meeting his family, exploring his city, and experiencing a life completely different from her own. His family slowly realized that Emma wasn't just a foreign girl from the internet. She was someone who genuinely cared about their son. And Emma realized something even deeper. Love doesn't depend on where someone comes from. It depends on the way they treat your heart. Those 2 weeks changed both of their lives. Before we reach the ending of this story, I have a special request for you. If you've ever believed in love that crosses borders, cultures, or impossible distances, comment the word "believe" below. Your comment might inspire someone who feels like love is impossible right now. Eventually, Emma had to return home. But this time, the distance didn't feel like an ending. It felt like the beginning of a new chapter. They continued building their lives together, step by step, planning a future that once seemed impossible. There were still challenges ahead, paperwork, long waiting periods, and many obstacles. But they had already proven something important. Love doesn't need perfect conditions. It only needs two people who refuse to give up. Years later, Emma would often look back at that rainy night in her New York apartment, when she almost ignored a simple message request. If she had never opened that message, she might have missed the greatest love story of her life. A story that began with two strangers living in different worlds, and became proof that sometimes the heart knows no borders. Before you go, if this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in love, and subscribe to Love Beyond Borders for more powerful stories that remind us that kindness, courage, and love can connect people from anywhere in the world. Because somewhere out there, another unexpected love story might be waiting to begin.